Today, we're looking at a massive update to how we define artificial intelligence. So forget ChatGPT for a second. Scientists have successfully mapped the entire brain of a fruit fly and are actively turning it into software. If you ever wondered if the Matrix could actually happen, maybe you should hang around and listen to this. Yeah. This is the first time we've have a complete wiring diagram, what do you call that? A connectome?
Connectomics?
Connectome?
Connectomics? Or connectome, yeah.
Of a complex adult animal brain, the fruit fly. A startup called Mamazing is using a map to build AI bottom up by mimicking biology rather than top-down approach used by OpenAI or Google. It's headline news because it proves that we can digitize biological brain, paving the way for hyper-efficient AI and eventually digital consciousness. Yeah. What do you think about this, John?
Yeah, so we did cover the fruit fly mapping, I think, but this is the next step.
We did cover the fruit fly mapping before, and we didn't know what they're like, how are they going to take it now? They're creating an AI based on this mapping. So this is definitely the next step in all this.
Yeah, this is great. Yeah. So building on this fruit connectome, so the new venture, Mamazing, I think.
Mamazing.
Okay. Aims to go beyond static maps and create software emulations of brains. So in technical terms, this involves converting a connectome into a computational model where neurons and synapses are represented as mathematical nodes and weighted connections. So these models can then be simulated and observed to see whether biological patterns give rise to intelligent behavior. So for example, researchers can simulate visual stimuli and evaluate whether the software fly model responds in ways comparable to a real fly, which is super cool. And it's different from traditional AI approaches, which typically use statistical optimization on large data sets. And this is because this uses direct biological structure as the basis for computation. So technically, emulating a brain connectome involves neuroscience, machine language, and high-performance computing all at once. So the brain's wiring dictates how learning, memory, and perception emerge. But the exact mapping from structure to computation, that's what's not fully understood. So what Mamazing attempts is to operate within that structure, using simulated environments to explore how synaptic strengths and networks dynamically translate into behavior. So what's cool about this is the project also intersects with efforts in AI energy efficiency. Since the biological brain operates with dramatically lower energy budgets than current AI data centers, a bio-derived computing paradigm could lead to more efficient brain-like artificial systems. And just on something else, I think we did cover a biochip that based in Australia before. So like, there's a lot of parallels here to all of this stuff. What do you think about this? I think this is kind of interesting, but I think we're far off from simulating the actual human brain.
Yeah, definitely far off from that. And we'll have to see what kind of power we can get at this. But this is really cool. So think of, to take what John said scientifically and put it into normal person's terms, think of a biological brain like a house. And until now, we've just been looking at the outside of the house. A connectome is a full set of architectural blueprints, every wire, every switch, and every outlet inside the walls. So the brain emulation is taking those blueprints and building a digital replica of the house inside the computer. So currently AIs like LLMs require massive power plants to run, but biological brains run on energy equivalent of a crumb of food. So copying biology could save the AI energy crisis, or could just change, where energy comes from in the future. This is definitely incredible. Mm-hmm. Maybe you're like giving your laptop part of your sandwich in the future at lunchtime. It moves us from an AI that predicts text to an AI that perceives and navigates the world like a living creature. It's very interesting. So this, could have impacts on our life, like smarter robotics, vacuum cleaners, drones that could navigate chaotic swarms as easily as a fly that zips around the kitchen without getting stuck.
Yeah.
But imagine self-driving that can handle this and making those moving instinctive and automatic. AI chips in your phone that last for days, not hours, because they mimic efficient biological circuits, or even medical breakthroughs, testing drugs on digital brains instead of animals, speeding up cures or for neurological diseases.
Yeah. So and talking about ambitions and challenges here. Well, the fruit fly, obviously, we talked about is magnitude simpler than human brains. The thing is its connectome provides a manageable yet non-trivial testbed. So the early work focuses on simulating this nervous system and linking the model to simple robotic interfaces to test the behavior. So their long-term ambition, obviously, is human brain emulation. So the challenges with that is scaling data collection, capturing neurochemical and temporal dynamics, understanding how abstract cognitive functions emerge from circuitry. And so there's a lot more there, but this effort, it does represent the most direct attempts yet to reverse engineer biological intelligence using software, which is really, really cool.
Yeah, and this raises some ethical and philosophical concerns. Brain emulation raised profound questions around, as connectome startups progress towards sophisticated emulation, society must consider issues of digital consciousness, morale status, identity, consent, and privacy, and what that means. But according to some of these timelines, even though I think with quantum computers, these are going to be rapidly accelerated, right now with the fly brain is mapped, they say it's going to take decades to get small mammals like mouse and such mapped, and 100+ years to get a full human brain emulation.
Yeah. Wow. I love that they're moving forward with this. I'm curious to see how this would relate to the brain on a chip that we had discussed previously. So, this is really cool. I'm really excited for this.
Well, I'm hoping that eventually, all these companies will borrow from each other. So the next version of, a brain on a chip will use some of these things that Mamazing is publishing and talking about, and vice versa, to make it all better. So we'll have to wait and see. So keep an eye on Mamazing. They're the ones putting out these digital brains into robot bodies. So we'll see that. Don't expect the mind uploading to be a consumer product in our lifetime. But this is a multi-generational scientific project that's interesting. So, this is a shift from artificial intelligence to artificial life, building systems because they are wired to think, not just trained to predict.
Yeah.
So the big question, if the tech existed tomorrow, would you upload your brain to the cloud or keep it analog? Let us know what your comments are, and we'll keep watching this story closely. What do you got going on, John? This is stuff that's going out in the next week or so.
Yeah, so we've got some events at the Toronto Business Development Center. I'm doing some lunch and learns in person there. It's a great organization, great incubator. And then February, what date is the Startup Drinks, Craig?
I closed that, so I'm not sure. February 19th, I believe.
February 19th, but have a look at startupdrinks.com, startupdrinksto.com for that event and other events. If you need some help with government funding, SHRED, or any other grants, reach out to me on LinkedIn. But if you're interested in AI automation workflows or you need help with your business, what can they do, Craig?
Well, we've got lots of stuff going on over at flowgrammar.ca where we help businesses implement AI and business automation so they can scale faster and more reliable, get more leads, grow faster. We also have a growing community over at flowgrammars.ca where we do Flowgrammar Cafe, we do live build events, we do demo events, we get the community together online and in person several times a month to show and demo and support anybody who's trying to do this, learn automation, end-to-end AI agent building. So check all that out. We have a series of events called Flowgrammar Cafe. The next one's February 6th, March 6th, and April 2nd. We do those right now in partnership with Workhouse, and those are full day drop-in headphones, laptop, and work. And we'll have some experts on site that can help you troubleshoot. And we all kind of do a little walkthrough in the afternoon about what you're working on, and show us what you're working on and stuff. And it's really cool. So check all that out over at flowgrammer.ca and flowgrammers.ca, and coming soon. And you can sign up for this now. Flowgramming.space, an AI agent and workflow marketplace where people can buy and sell agents or workflows. So if you're building agents and don't know what to do with them, where to sell them, go over there and check that out. Again, flowgramming.space. Or if you're building workflows, or if you want agents or workflows built, you can go over there and buy them. We have some interesting guarantees, and it's coming soon, so you can get your name on the waiting list right now. That's all we got going on, John. For everything else, go to torontostarts.com. I don't even think I mentioned it that whole time. Thanks everyone for watching. All the information about CES, and these interesting things. Any last words, John?
No. Check out our next episode. We're going to be talking about the weird stuff at CES. So,
all right, everyone. Thanks for watching.